This is a gamer boy who falls in love and takes the shy girl home. I'm Nerd Anime. Leave a like and let's go. It all starts when Ani is dumped by her boyfriend Takuma because he found someone with bigger breasts. After returning home, she logs into the game they used to play together. That's when she encounters a strange afro-haired guy who is actually Yamada and messages him. Yamada invites her to hunt, but she starts complaining about being used and discarded by her ex until Yamada gets annoyed and disconnects from the game. Soon after, she's invited to the game's live event and decides to go, hoping to find Takuma and his new girl. The next day, she arrives at the event and bumps into a guy, sending her shoe flying like a low-budget Cinderella. She turns to see Yamada, an incredibly handsome boy holding her shoe like a Prince Charming. Aine immediately gets flustered and starts explaining that she was lost in thought, but the guy seems uninterested, causing her embarrassment. He says he's not interested and starts to walk away, and that's when she realizes that Yamada from the game said something similar to her. When she asks if he's Yamada, the guy pauses for a second and asks if they've met before. At that moment, she hears Takuma's voice behind him and starts to pose, thinking he's surprised to see her. In reality, Takuma is shocked to see Yamada and rushes to shake his hand. His girl asks who Yamada is, and Takuma reveals that he's a very popular professional gamer whom he admires. Ane feels completely crushed. So, to save face, she rushes over and introduces Yamada as her new boyfriend. And Yamada quietly says he's not, but she begs him to play along and bribes him with a code for a rare in-game item. Yamada accepts the offer and confirms he's dating Ane, which makes Takuma jealous. When Takuma falls to his knees, Ane feels victorious until she realizes he'll have a romantic night, while she won't. She forces Yamada to accompany her to a bar, asking him to keep her company because she doesn't want to be alone. As she starts talking about her ex, Yamada finally realizes she's the same girl he met in the game. Annie tells him he'll die a virgin if he keeps acting so cold, and Yamada says she's right because he's never had a girlfriend before. Aine is shocked at first, and when he says he's not interested in romance, Annie thinks maybe he's right because she was dumped. When she starts crying, she apologizes and goes to the bathroom, where she realizes her clothes are dirty from her fall. She also notices she scratched her leg and wishes she'd never gone to that event. When she returns, she finds her table empty and realizes she's been abandoned by another man. Realizing she'll be alone now, she starts crying again, but Yamada suddenly appears behind her. He then asks her to sit down and reveals he went to buy bandages because he saw her scratched leg. He then puts the bandage on her, and Ane is so moved by his kindness that she promises to buy him all the drinks he wants and even lets him stay with her later. The next day, Ane wakes up with a hangover and hears Yamada's voice in the background. She quickly realizes she's in his room and assumes she did something embarrassing last night. As he slowly walks towards her, she panics and jumps out of bed, asking him to explain what happened last night. And Yamada reveals that she got too drunk last night, and his only options were to leave her on the street or take her home. So he chose the latter. Aine kneels to apologize but feels even worse when he says she threw up on his clothes, and he had to wash them. After getting dressed, she leaves immediately and realizes how miserable her life is. Walking home, she suddenly realizes she's missing her necklace and starts to panic. She searches all over the house but can't find it. So her last option is to ask Yamada if it's at his apartment. She logs into the game to message him, but the guy is offline, and she starts reminiscing about how that necklace was the first gift she received from Takuma. With no one to talk to, she confides in the guild leader, Ruri, until Yamada finally logs in. She immediately messages him about the necklace, but Yamada says it's not there. He then tells Ruri that the guild warehouse is always full, no matter how many times he cleans it. But Ruri believes someone must have left those items for new players, and Yamada says those items are utterly useless, and not even noobs will find them helpful. But Ruri asks him to be gentle, or whoever left them will be hurt. That's when Ani reveals that she was the one who left them there. And even when Ruri tries to salvage the situation, Yamada insists and calls them useless trash while asking her to be more selective. Ane feels so sad that she logs out of the game, and Yamada decides to log out too. As he walks away from the computer, he feels something under his foot and realizes it's Ane's necklace, which he just broke by stepping on it. A few days later, Takuma apologizes for breaking up with her and gives her a gift as a peace offering. However, his current girlfriend jumps out of the gift box, causing Ane to suddenly wake up. Later, she shares this dream with her friend Momo, who remains as indifferent as ever and tells her to find a new guy. Because Takuma's stories are getting boring, she asks to talk more about the attractive gamer guy she met at the event, questioning if she really spent the night at his house without doing body shots. Ane reassures her that nothing happened between them, but is really worried because she left her necklace at his house. Momo asks why she's keeping a gift from the guy who dumped her and continues criticizing Ane, which makes her feel devastated. As she walks home, she realizes she's a loser like you guys, and it's no fun playing alone. At that moment, she sees a girl confessing her love to a senior, which reminds her of the time she was rejected. Then she hears Yamada's voice telling the girl not to waste her time and to come back when she's decided what she wants. Seeing his rude behavior, Ane immediately scolds him and reminds him that she's the same girl he met at the gaming event. She apologizes for the trouble she caused him and advises him to be gentler because that girl was about to confess to him. And Yamada is shocked to hear this, which makes Ane realize that he is the CEO of socially inept people. As they walk together, 𝐂𝐨𝐵 notices his uniform and realizes he attends an elite school, which means either his father is rich or he truly has the intelligence for it. Then, suddenly, 𝐭𝐴 reveals that he wanted to see her again, which gives 𝐂𝐴𝐵 butterflies in her stomach. However, when he pulls out the broken necklace from his pocket, 𝐂𝐴𝐵 is heartbroken to see it in that state. She controls her emotions and leaves the station only to see heavy rain outside, wanting to go home as quickly as possible. She starts running in the rain, but 𝐭𝐴 runs after her and hands her an umbrella before running off. The next day, she's lying in bed, holding the broken necklace when she hears the doorbell. Upon opening the door, she's bombarded by delivery men who leave several boxes in her room. She also receives a letter from her mother saying that she's going to turn her room into a gym and wants to remove all her things. 𝐂𝐴𝐵 immediately calls Momo and begs her to help, but Momo firmly tells her to throw everything away. After a few hours, Momo puts all the useless things in trash bags, but avoids throwing away the umbrella and the broken necklace. That's when she remembers 𝐭𝐴's words about being selective, so she decides to throw everything away except the stuffed owl her grandmother gave her. After that, the girls went to a barbecue but got so drunk that 𝐂𝐴𝐵 ended up ringing 𝐭𝐴's doorbell, saying she came to unclog his pipes and return his umbrella. Despite being annoyed, 𝐭𝐴 calmly takes his umbrella and asks them to leave, but Momo snuggles up to him and asks him to marry her, which actually irritates him. That's when 𝐂𝐴𝐵 says she actually came here to thank him, because if he hadn't been at the event, she would have had a tough day. So she drags Momo away before he calls the police. But before leaving, 𝐭𝐴 suddenly realizes he's in a lot of pain. He excitedly says that the guild friends were worried about her since she hadn't logged in for days. He then casually invites her to play with him whenever she's free, and this instantly brightens their mood. A few weeks later, 𝐂𝐴𝐵 ends up going on a group date with Momo, but the whole time she's completely out of place and clearly uncomfortable. She even tries to convince Momo to let her leave, but Momo ignores her and insists she stays. With no other choice, 𝐂𝐴𝐵 settles for scrolling through her phone feed until one of the guys finally approaches her and tries to strike up a conversation, hoping to get lucky tonight. He mentions he heard she likes games and asks her to share the name of the game she's currently playing so they can play together. 𝐴𝐵 says she also likes games and is playing an online game called F, but it's obvious the guy has no idea what she's talking about, which only makes her lose even more interest. After the date, Momo complains that 𝐂𝐴𝐵 spent the whole time glued to her phone instead of interacting with the guys. 𝐂𝐴𝐵 apologizes and explains that she was chatting with Rory during the outing. Momo gets a little suspicious and asks why she thought it was smart to give her number to someone she only knew from an online game. 𝐂𝐴𝐵 defends herself by saying that Rory doesn't seem like a stranger and even shows Momo the chat history while talking about how cute her character is. Momo finds the whole thing suspicious and asks how 𝐂𝐴𝐵 can be sure that Rory isn't just a bearded fat man pretending to be a girl online. This plants a small seed of doubt in 𝐂𝐴𝐵's mind, and after Momo leaves, she starts to question her own judgment. Then she passes by a girl in a bunny costume and for some reason, it reminds her of Rory. Later that night, 𝐂𝐴𝐵 in her pajamas eagerly logs into Falls, much more excited to play her favorite game than she was for the date. As she waits for everything to load, she realizes she might actually be turning into an addicted gamer girl. She quickly pushes the thought away and enters the game, but the guild hall is completely empty. While wandering, she eventually spots Rory and 𝐭𝐴 outside working together on some kind of potion. She tries to call them, but they're so engrossed in their own conversation that they don't even notice her presence. 𝐂𝐴𝐵 silently reads their chat, where Rory says it used to be just the two of them when they started the guild. As welcoming as she is, she says it's good that it's just the two of them online today. When 𝐭𝐴 says it was easier when it was just them, 𝐂𝐴𝐵 starts to wonder if the two are secretly a couple. She debates whether to say something, but before she can decide, 𝐭𝐴 finally sees her and tells Rory that she's online. Rory immediately greets her warmly, and 𝐂𝐴𝐵 apologizes for interrupting their conversation, but Rory assures her it's nothing much. As the girls start chatting, 𝐭𝐴 logs out, and Rory tells him she'll call him later, which only makes 𝐂𝐴𝐵 more convinced that something is going on between them. She remembers how he and Takuma became a couple when they started playing together. This makes her sad that everyone is finding someone while she's here like a cucumber. The next day, while in class, she couldn't stop thinking about Rory and 𝐭𝐴. She even considered snooping on 𝐭𝐴's social media for clues about their relationship, but held back because spying is bad. After school, while walking to the station, she encountered the same guy from the group date. She recognizes him, but still can't remember his name, and as they walk together, he keeps trying to talk about enemies, hoping she'll let him take advantage of her. 𝐂𝐴𝐵 doesn't care at all what he's saying, but figures that since he's a guy and likes games, maybe he's at least heard of 𝐭𝐴. She mentions his name, but the guy clearly has no idea who 𝐭𝐴 is, which only makes her feel worse. As they approach the station, something catches her eye. A girl who looks like Rory running. She keeps her eyes on her and is shocked to see the girl meet up with 𝐭𝐴. Watching them walk away together, she suddenly remembers that 𝐭𝐴 once said he never had a girlfriend and starts to wonder if he was lying to her. The guy next to her finally realizes she's no longer paying attention to him and asks if something's wrong. 𝐂𝐴𝐵 just says she has somewhere to go, apologizes, and quickly walks away. He tries to call out to her, but she's already gone. She was too absorbed in her own thoughts about 𝐭𝐴 and the girl she now presumes to be Rory. That night, while lying in bed, Ani receives a message from Ruri informing her that she's opening a faux collaboration cafe next month. She says she wants the club members to go together and mentions that 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 has already agreed to go since they met earlier that day. This confirms Ani's suspicion that the girl she saw was indeed Ruri. And while she still doesn't want to believe they're a couple, she replies and says she'll go. A few days later, on the day of the meeting, Ruri sends a reminder and Ani begins to prepare for the big day. On the train, she messages Momo to let her know where she's going. Momo immediately freaks out, warning that meeting strangers from online games is risky and she might be falling into a trap. But Ani calms her down by saying that 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 will also be there, which makes Momo feel a little better. As soon as she gets off the train, Ani has difficulty following the map and ends up getting lost. While trying to figure out where she is, a guy named Rata bumps into her and causes her phone to fall. The guy quickly apologizes and picks it up, and when he sees the map on the screen, he asks if she's also going to the 𝐹𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 cafe. She says yes, so he offers to walk with her since he's also going there. At first, Ani wonders if following a random guy is a good idea, but as they walk and he starts to nerd out about games, she relaxes a bit. Eventually, he asks what she thinks of 𝐹𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆, and Ani admits she's still pretty new to it. She even jokes about being scolded for putting useless things in the guild storage recently. The guy looks at her with an irresistible charm, but before he can say anything, someone calls his name. When Ani turns to see who it is, she realizes it's Ruri and feels relieved. But her eyes immediately light up when she sees 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 standing nearby, talking to a bald, short Discord moderator named 𝐂𝐿𝐴. She runs across the street to greet him, but while she's talking, Ruri approaches and holds 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆's sleeve as if marking her territory. Her intense gaze makes Ani nervous, making her realize that Ruri is very different from how she acts in the game. Before she can say much more, the girl looks at Rata and asks who she is. He smiles and says her name is Ani and that she's their guildmate. The group finally enters the faux collaboration cafe and chooses a table, settling in as Rata and 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 start discussing what to order. Ani sits silently, feeling out of place since the only people she knows a little are 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 and the girl she thought was Ruri, who keeps giving her cold stares. Even so, she tries to strike up a conversation and asks about the two guys who are with them. The girl responds rudely, saying that the tall guy is Rata and the chubby man is 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆. Then she throws another jab, questioning why Ani keeps calling her Ruri since that's not even her in-game name. Ani gets confused and doesn't understand what she means until 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 intervenes and suggests everyone introduce themselves to clear things up. Rata goes first and introduces himself as a person who plays as Ruri in the game, which completely shocks Ani. She calls him a fake, but Rata argues that he's not a fraud and says that although he and Ruri are not the same on the outside, they are one on the inside. Ani doesn't believe him and says he tricked her into sharing her contact, but he ignores her and says she gave it to Ruri, not to him. Her brain short-circuits as she's surrounded by sweaty gamers, and she throws herself back in the seat, completely exhausted. Next, 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 introduces himself and says that Ani probably doesn't know his character because he's always clearing dungeons. Then he points to the short, sharp-tongued girl and says she's Runa, Rata's little sister and the face model for the character Ruri. Runa doesn't say much until she hears 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 mention that Ani and 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 already know each other. This irritates her, and she demands to know how they met. And 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 says it's too complicated to explain, but Ani interrupts and says it was at an offline event. Runa then gives her a death stare, making Ani realize that she completely hates her. Ignoring her, Ani nervously tells 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 that she thought he and Ruri had something because they always acted so close in the game. 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 explains that Rata is his senior, and when they're online, he just follows his lead, even if the role-playing gets weird. Ani says she understands now and admits she believed he was lying when he said he never had a girlfriend. But he's so desperate that he's role-playing with other men, and 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 calmly says he would never lie about something like that. And Ani smiles, saying she's relieved. But as soon as the words leave her mouth, she starts to question why she feels this way. As if on cue, Runa asks if Ani has an interest in 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆, which catches her off guard. Before she can answer, Rata covers Runa's mouth and apologizes, saying that Runa gets defensive when it comes to people she likes. Runa doesn't react well, which leads to an argument between the two. Trying to ignore the chaos, Ani grabs her drink to calm down, but when she sees 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 looking at her, she gets nervous and spills the glass. As she bends down to pick it up, 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 stops her and says the staff should handle it since she might cut herself. Embarrassed, she turns her face away to hide her red face and stays like that until he leaves to take a call. As soon as she returns to her seat, Rata follows 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 while 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 starts a light conversation to help Ani feel more at ease. 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 explains that the rest of them have been friends for a while. They originally met in another game before moving to 𝒏𝒆. He adds that Runa barely plays. That's why Ani never saw her online. Then he casually mentions that Rata was looking forward to meeting her in person. Runa hears this and walks out, accusing Ani of trying to get both 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 and Rata. Meanwhile, Rata finds 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 outside and immediately confronts him for faking the phone call. 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 admits he left because he thought Ani didn't want him around, which makes Rata realize he's a complete idiot. He tells 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 that Ani avoided eye contact because she was embarrassed, but 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 doesn't understand. Rata just shakes his head and changes the subject, saying that Ani is much more interesting than 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 had described. and Yamada insists his description was correct. But Rata says otherwise and warns that if he doesn't start paying attention to girls, he'll die a virgin like you guys. Suddenly, Yamada is hit by a memory of a girl crying for him and asking if he feels sorry, which distracts him for a few seconds. After lunch, everyone goes outside while 𝐂𝐨 talks to Rata and Yamada. Runa whispers to 𝐂𝐨 that she doesn't like 𝐂𝐨 because she's a hoe who has two relationships at the same time. 𝐂𝐨 is shocked by her words, but Runa doesn't care and mutters to herself that she's going to kick 𝐂𝐨 out of the guild because she doesn't belong there. After the group splits up, 𝐂𝐨 and Yamada take the same train since they live close to each other. On board, 𝐂𝐨 tries to strike up a conversation with Yamada, but his monosyllabic replies make her run out of things to say. Then suddenly she notices girls muttering around them, making her wonder if they see them as a couple. While lost in thought, the train takes an unexpected lurch, and 𝐂𝐨 falls right into Yamada's chest. He suggests they switch places so this doesn't happen again. And when they switch, 𝐂𝐨 realizes the girls are looking at Yamada and not at her. She remembers how she couldn't stop looking at him when they first met, and starts thinking about Runa's question about whether she has feelings for him. She wonders why Runa would even think that, but the harder she tries to forget, the harder it is to ignore. To distract herself, she asks Yamada what he's planning to eat for dinner, and he casually says, "Pudding." 𝐂𝐨 laughs, thinking he's joking. But when they get off the train and he actually buys pudding, she realizes he was serious. As they walk, she asks if he usually cooks, and he admits he doesn't know, so he lives off convenience store meals. 𝐂𝐨 doesn't like that, so she makes him wait on a bench while she rushes home to prepare some food. When she returns, Yamada is sitting there half asleep, and she quickly apologizes for making him wait. She hands him the bags and shows him what she brought, saying she even included some vegetables so he can have a proper meal. And Yamada says he can't accept, but she insists, saying it's from the heart, and she really wants him to have it. Well, at that moment, 𝐂𝐨 receives a call from Runa, who surprisingly apologizes for her previous behavior. She says she got 𝐂𝐨's number from Rata and wants to be friends. 𝐂𝐨 is surprised, but happily agrees, and the two even make plans to hang out next Saturday. When the call ends, 𝐂𝐨 excitedly tells Yamada about it, saying she's looking forward to becoming good friends with Runa. Later that night, Yamada is in his room thinking about the upcoming meeting between 𝐂𝐨 and Runa. Something about it doesn't feel right, so he checks his calendar. That's when he realizes he already has a tutoring session scheduled with Runa that same Saturday, making him wonder if there was some kind of mistake or if things are going to get awkward. The following weekend, Yamada is aimlessly browsing on his PC when he suddenly receives a call from Rata, who asks if he's coming to tutor Runa as planned. He finds it strange because she made plans with 𝐂𝐨, but decides he was too cool to care and agrees to come. Meanwhile, 𝐂𝐨 shows up at the cafe where she was supposed to meet Runa. But instead of seeing her, there's a suspicious man waiting who says he's there on Runa's behalf. 𝐂𝐨 immediately feels uncomfortable with him, especially when he starts saying how happy he is that she's actually a girl and not a guy pretending to be one online. She tries to explain several times that she's not Rory, but the guy doesn't seem to understand. At that moment, 𝐂𝐨's phone vibrates with a message from Runa, saying she'll be late and sent a friend to keep 𝐂𝐨 company until she arrives. Reading this message makes 𝐂𝐨 start to panic because she doesn't believe she's stuck with some stranger until Runa arrives. She quickly apologizes and goes straight to the bathroom, locking herself in a stall before trying to call Runa. Meanwhile, Yamada is at Rata's house for a tutoring session with Runa. As he flips through her notebook, he casually asks if she has any plans for the day, and she lies, saying she doesn't. At that moment, her phone rings, and when she sees it's 𝐂𝐨 calling, she immediately rejects the call. Back at the cafe, 𝐂𝐨 is in the bathroom in despair, realizing that Runa won't answer, and she's stuck with a stranger she barely knows. Her nerves are on edge when the guy she was sitting with starts banging on the bathroom door, asking her to come out. It's at this moment that 𝐂𝐨's internal alarms go off because now she's genuinely afraid of what he might do. Things get worse when he tries to force the bathroom door open, and she starts to panic. Back at Rata's house, Runa finally admits that she left 𝐂𝐨 and had no problem sending a stranger in her place. She defends herself by saying she saw nothing wrong with it. When Yamada hears this, he stands up, clearly upset, and walks towards the door only to find Rata standing there holding snacks. Rata tries to lighten the mood but immediately notices the tension in the room and asks what's going on. After Yamada explains everything, Rata logs into his account to check if what Runa said is true and sees that she really sent messages to the man using his computer. While the boys check the messages, Runa looks at pictures of their original guild and wonders why everything can't just go back to how it was before 𝐂𝐨 joined. Moments later, 𝐂𝐨 appears at the door in a frenzy because Rata told him that 𝐂𝐨 might be in danger just to make him get there faster. The four get into 𝐂𝐨's car and everyone rushes towards the cafe. As 𝐂𝐨 speeds through traffic, Yamada tries to calm him down, and Rata scolds Runa for what she did. He reminds her that this kind of selfish attitude is exactly why she has no friends at school. Runa doesn't seem to care, and says she has many friends online, but Rata doesn't believe her. He tells her to consider 𝐂𝐨's feelings because she was really excited to meet her, which makes Runa reflect on her actions. When they arrive at the cafe, Yamada is the first to see 𝐂𝐨 sitting with a strange man, and immediately realizes something is wrong. But before he can react, 𝐂𝐨 rushes forward crying and asks if 𝐂𝐨 is okay. After making sure she's all right, He immediately turns to the man and threatens legal action if he did anything suspicious, leaving both 𝐂𝐨 and the guy completely confused. Rada and 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 catch up, and Rada explains that they rushed because they thought Runa set her up with the pervert, and 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 then notices the bandage on 𝐂𝐨's leg and asks what happened. The man admits that she got hurt after hitting her knee on the toilet when he accidentally scared her in the bathroom. Rada is furious that the man entered the women's bathroom and grabs him by the tie, asking what made him think that was okay. The guy tries to justify himself, saying he thought she had fainted and went in there to get medicine for her. As the awkward discussion continues, 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 remains frozen in place, watching the confusion around him. Finally, he apologizes to 𝐂𝐨, saying that if he had told her earlier about Runa's tutoring that Saturday, none of this would have happened. 𝐂𝐨 is surprised to hear this and thinks that Runa probably didn't intend to stand her up, and maybe she just got caught up in the tutoring session. Although a part of her knows the truth, she decides to believe the lie because she still wants to think of Runa as her friend. Runa, overcome with guilt, runs out, but when 𝐂𝐨 tries to follow her, her injured leg gives way. Hearing her scream, Runa runs back and asks if she's okay. But before 𝐂𝐨 can answer, Rada intervenes and tells Runa to go with him because she needs to learn a lesson. Runa turns to 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆, hoping he'll defend her, but he says he won't protect her this time. With no choice, she follows Rada as he drags her. But they stop when 𝐂𝐨 calls out again, pretending her stomach is burning, and asks Rada to buy painkillers at a nearby store. She tells 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 and 𝐂𝐨 to go too, and asks the strange guy to leave. When everyone is gone, she tells Runa to stay and rub her stomach until they return. Now alone, 𝐂𝐨 sits down again while Runa remains standing, clearly embarrassed by the whole situation. To ease the tension, 𝐂𝐨 starts casually talking about 𝒏, when Runa finally loses her patience and demands to know why 𝐂𝐨 is acting like nothing is wrong. She blurts out that she stood her up on purpose because she didn't like her and wanted her out of the guild. 𝐂𝐨 is quiet for a moment, but remembers how Runa ran back to check on her after her leg gave out, and that gives her the answer she needed. She says she came here today because she thinks highly of all of them and wanted to meet her in person, so she can also accept her as everyone else did. Hearing this, Runa starts to cry and apologizes because she never expected 𝐂𝐨 to be so kind to her after everything she did. Instead of saying anything, 𝐂𝐨 just smiles at her, letting her express her emotions. Meanwhile, the guys are coming back, and Rada is crying because his cute little sister has become a threat to society. When they finally return, they are shocked to see 𝐂𝐨 comforting Runa as if nothing had happened, and 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 is surprised to see how well she handled the situation. A few days later, Runa is in class acting like nothing happened, hoping her classmates will approach her, but they think she's weird. She also remembers how she was bullied by her seniors, but deals with it by telling herself she has many online friends. She also believes that all the boys in the class have a crush on her, but since she dresses like a goth outside of school, they keep their distance from her. Also, her brother and his friend are very handsome, so all the other boys seem like poorly drawn NPCs to her. Soon after, she notices some girls doing a new TikTok dance in class, which makes her realize that maybe she's a loner. After school, Runa stops by 𝐂𝐨's house and shows her the dance she saw the girls do in class. Since 𝐂𝐨 is older than her, she lets Runa act like a spoiled brat, which makes her happy. But since 𝐂𝐨 has other friends too, this makes Runa jealous because she wants 𝐂𝐨 all to herself. However, as they spend more time together, Runa starts to think that 𝐂𝐨 is as weird as she is, which makes them a perfect match. A few days later, Runa visits again to help 𝐂𝐨 figure out how to level up in 𝐹OS, while Momo relaxes next to them, complaining about how she's eager to get her cookie. When she realizes they're ignoring her, she explodes and tells 𝐂𝐨 she should be worrying about getting a boyfriend instead of playing with a child who clearly ran away from home. 𝐂𝐨 calmly explains that Runa isn't running away from home, but is just avoiding Rata because things are still tense between them. Momo says it's none of her business, and adds that if Runa wants to hang out, she should do it with people her own age. This irritates Runa, and she tells Momo to stop acting like a bitter, washed-up witch and just go home if she's so bored. Momo responds with a death stare and a not-so-subtle threat that instantly sends Runa flying into 𝐂𝐨's arms. As Runa eats her snack, 𝐂𝐨 goes back to playing Final Fantasy, and Momo changes the subject to 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆. 𝐂𝐨 casually says he's just a friend who helped her with the game, and Runa intervenes to say that 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 is naturally kind. She also mentions that he still finds time to help her even with studying, even while preparing for his own entrance exams. Momo gets curious, and soon the two start gossiping about 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆, wondering why someone so attractive has never gotten a girl. 𝐂𝐨 doesn't participate in the gossip and continues playing. And as she plays, she sees that 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 has just logged in. She gets excited and starts chatting with him, boasting about how much she's leveled up. She even shows off her newly upgraded shoes, but 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 immediately points out that she used the wrong materials. She feels discouraged, especially since she wasted her hard-earned gems. But 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 offers her a speech from his inventory. She refuses because she wants to earn her own money. Then she tells him she's going out to hunt for more materials. And 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 wishes her luck, and even adds a smiling emoji, which shocks her so much that she screams, convinced that 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒆 showing emotion is a glitch in the Matrix. Seeing Momo freaking out over a game, she pushes her away from the laptop, begging her to just forget about it. 𝐂𝐨 breaks free and calmly returns to her desk only to watch in horror as her laptop starts sparking and releases a cloud of smoke. That night, while Runa is watching TV, Rada enters the room, and she tells him about 𝐂𝐨𝐴's broken laptop. He thinks the last FOS update was too much for the poor device to handle. Runa feels bad for 𝐂𝐴 and says she won't be able to play until she can save enough money for a new one. The next day, 𝐂𝐴 is stuck reading books instead of playing, and it's so painful that she starts crying. As she's sulking, someone knocks on the door, and to her surprise, it's 𝐂𝐵𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 and Runa. Runa says she dragged 𝐂𝐵𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 there to take a look at her computer. Rada had called 𝐂𝐵𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 the night before and asked him to stop by after Runa's tutoring session to help 𝐂𝐴. Initially, 𝐂𝐵𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 didn't want to, but then he remembered how happy she was talking about her shoes. So he changed his mind. Currently, 𝐂𝐴 is delighted to see him, but he tells her not to expect a miracle because he's no tech wizard. As he starts checking the system, 𝐂𝐴 excuses herself to get snacks, but Runa follows her and points out that her wire armor is still in plain sight. 𝐂𝐴 panics, grabs her washed clothes, and silently thanks the heavens that 𝐂𝐵𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 didn't see her. She returns to the kitchen, pours juice, and asks if they would like her to cook something. Both say yes, and 𝐂𝐵𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 says he actually liked the curry she gave him the other day. Runa hears this out of curiosity and remembers the first time Rada mentioned meeting 𝐂𝐴 in the game. He said that 𝐂𝐴 is a pure-hearted person who doesn't hide who she is and that she would be a perfect match for 𝐂𝐵𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆. At that time, Runa refused to let a stranger into their group, but now she sees them together and wonders if they really should be dating. As they talk, Runa takes a picture of them together and sends it to Rata, who immediately starts praising and asks Runa to get them together. Later, while 𝐂𝐴 cooks for them, Runa joins her and asks if she's going to take a bath, hoping 𝐂𝐵𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 will accidentally walk in. However, when she says no, Runa walks away disappointed. Eventually, she simply grabs 𝐂𝐴 and throws her at 𝐂𝐵𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆, which annoys 𝐂𝐴. When she gets up to discipline Runa, her hair hits 𝐂𝐵𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆's eye, diverting his attention. 𝐂𝐴 panics and holds his face to see if he's okay, not realizing how close they are. And 𝐂𝐵𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 calmly says he's fine and asks her to move back a bit. 𝐂𝐴 is embarrassed and apologizes, telling Runa to apologize too since all of this was her fault. And 𝐂𝐵𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 ignores her and says he's going home to get some tools to fix the laptop. After he leaves, Runa notices that he seemed to be running away, and 𝐂𝐴 starts to wonder if he was really that bothered by their little accidental proximity. When 𝐂𝐴 was near 𝐂𝐵𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆's face, he looked into her eyes, which made her heart beat faster. Not understanding what's happening, he decided to leave her apartment only to be hit by another flashback of a girl crying for him. He goes to a convenience store to buy tea, and the cashier tries to strike up a conversation with him. She says she wanted to know his name because she's interested in hooking up. But 𝐂𝐵𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 coldly tells her he's in a hurry. The expression on her face changes, and 𝐂𝐵𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 remembers Rata saying he'll die a virgin if he doesn't change. Despite this, he decides this is too much for him and leaves. When he finally returns, he sees that the two girls have fallen asleep with a plate of food left for him. Wanting to let them rest, he quietly settles in and starts working on her laptop. One of his tools slips and rolls near 𝐂𝐴, but luckily, she doesn't wake up. When he picks it up, his eyes rest on her sleeping face, and he notices that she cut her hair after the incident. For some reason, he delicately unties it and lets her hair fall naturally. A moment later, the doorbell rings, and when 𝐂𝐵𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 answers, he finds 𝐂𝐴's ex-boyfriend, 𝒂𝐨𝒂𝐚𝒏, standing there. The guy seems surprised to see 𝐂𝐵𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 and starts screaming. Then 𝐂𝐵𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 closes the door behind him so the girls don't wake up. He asks what 𝒂𝐨𝒂𝐚𝒏 is doing at her house, admitting he never really believed they were dating. 𝐂𝐵𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 doesn't say much, so the guy explains that he just came to return some containers that 𝐂𝐴 used to pack lunch for him when they were still together. He admits that seeing the containers made him think of her, and he started to wonder if she was okay. So he wanted to check on her to put his mind at ease. For some reason, 𝐂𝐵𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 hesitantly tells him that 𝐂𝐴 is doing well without him. Then 𝒂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 apologizes for coming and asks 𝐂𝐵𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 not to tell her. With that, he hands over bags and waves goodbye while 𝐂𝐵𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 stands watching. After the guy leaves, 𝐂𝐴 wakes up and opens the door, and 𝐂𝐵𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 tells her that these boxes appeared out of nowhere, which makes 𝐂𝐴 laugh. She knows 𝒂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 was here, so as they go back inside, she thanks him for dealing with her ex. As she puts the containers back, 𝐂𝐵𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 returns her hair clip, and she thinks it fell out while she was sleeping. However, 𝐂𝐵𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 admits he took it out while she was sleeping. 𝐂𝐴 is surprised and asks why, but he simply says he doesn't know, which makes her wings burn. Before he can explain more, he receives a call from Rata, and 𝐂𝐴 watches confused, wondering what's going on with him. A few days later, 𝐂𝐴 interviews for a job at a nearby convenience store. Since she's completely broke, she happily tells the manager she'll take as many shifts as possible if she doesn't have classes. On the way home, she calls Momo to share the news, and Momo is confused, asking why she needs a job if her laptop is already fixed. 𝐂𝐴 says she still wants to reimburse 𝐂𝐵𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆, especially since Rada donated most of the parts, and she doesn't want to just rely on people without doing something in return. Momo wishes her good luck and ends the call by saying she's currently with a group of friends trying to hook up. Later that night, 𝐂𝐨𝐴 logs into 𝒏𝒆 straight from the shower and finds 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 sitting alone in the guild hall. She goes over to him to chat, and 𝑨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 greets her in his usual Ruri way. He says he was having a meeting with Sub-Chief 𝐂𝐿𝐴, although his in-game character is just a small, floating sheep-like creature, which scares her. 𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 tells her that since 𝐂𝐿𝐴 is usually in the dungeons, seeing him here is quite rare. They chat for a bit, and she mentions the cost of the computer parts, insisting that she wants to reimburse them. 𝒏𝒊𝒆 dismisses it, saying they were second-hand parts anyway, but suggests that instead of money, she can help them carry out the plan they were discussing before she joined the conversation. Meanwhile, at school, 𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 and his classmates are preparing for the upcoming school festival. As he goes out to take out the trash, a group of nearby girls debate whether or not to talk to him. Before they can decide, one of 𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆's classmates, Okamoto, joins him and tries to convince him to participate in the beauty contest. He says 𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 would easily win since many girls like him, but 𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 isn't interested. Just as they finish throwing out the trash, someone calls 𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 to say his phone is ringing back in the classroom. As he walks back to the classroom, the annoying classmate joins him and tries to befriend him to use 𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆's popularity and get some girls on his wave. When he returns, he finds his phone placed on a small towel on his desk. 𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆, the girl sitting next to him, says she put it there because it was vibrating too much and bothering her. And 𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 apologizes and returns the towel. And 𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 mentions his recent live match. She bluntly says his aim was bad and his reactions were slow, asking if he got worse from playing too much 𝒏𝒆, and 𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒆 says yes, even though the lag was due to overloaded servers. But before he can speak, 𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 says only noobs blame lag. Her words leave him calm, and he returns his attention to a message that 𝒏𝒆 sent in the guild chat. 𝒏𝒆 asks him to pick up festival tickets for everyone in the guild, casually mentioning that 𝒂𝐴𝒃 is paying for all of them. A few days later, 𝒂𝐴𝒃 with 𝒂𝐿𝒆 and Runa outside 𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒆's school for the festival, and the three enter together. As they walk, they spot 𝒏𝒄𝒆 in the crowd, but everyone pretends not to know him since he's wearing ridiculous bunny ears that are hard to ignore. 𝒂𝐴𝒃 then asks Runa if she wants to eat something, but Runa coldly says she's not hungry. A little confused, 𝒂𝐴𝒃 looks at 𝒂𝐿𝒆, who explains that Runa is probably just nervous, because the entrance exams for that school are coming up next year. 𝒂𝐴𝒃 tries to cheer her up, and 𝒂𝐿𝒆 tells her not to worry, saying he believes Runa will do well, but Runa doesn't seem convinced. They continue walking through the school, and when 𝒏𝒆 suggests going into the haunted house, Runa refuses and grabs onto 𝒂𝐴𝒃. 𝒂𝐴𝒃 asks again what she wants to do instead, but Runa says her stomach hurts from nervousness. So 𝒂𝐴𝒃 takes her to the bathroom to rest. While waiting outside, 𝒂𝐴𝒃 receives a message from 𝒏𝒆, telling her to meet outside in 15 minutes. She thinks about messaging 𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 too, but decides not to, worried that she might seem desperate. As soon as she puts away her phone, she hears boxes falling nearby and looks up to see 𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 helping his classmates carry materials. She thinks about calling him, but another student is quicker, so she watches him in silence, secretly hoping he'll notice her. When he disappears into the classroom, she returns to her spot outside the bathroom and starts to worry, since Runa is taking longer than expected. But then, 𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒆 suddenly appears behind her and reaches out to touch her shoulder. She turns around, surprised, and asks how he knew she was there. He says he saw her earlier and was about to call her before getting stuck with the boxes. This makes 𝒂𝐴𝒃 happy, knowing he noticed her and she can't help but smile. And 𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒆 asks why she's smiling, but 𝒂𝐴𝒃 says it's for nothing, and the two continue talking for a while. Unknown to them, 𝒏𝒄𝒆 is observing their interaction from the classroom window, curious about what's going on. 𝒂𝐴𝒃 then tells 𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒆 that Runa has been locked in the bathroom for a while and that they should check on her. Later, both take Runa to the infirmary as her stomach is still bothering her, and 𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒆 takes out his phone to notify 𝒏𝒆, but Runa quickly jumps on him and snatches it away. She says she doesn't want 𝒏𝒆 to find out she's sick because he'll take her home before she has a chance to enjoy the festival food. 𝒂𝒃 promises to bring Runa whatever food she wants. So Runa lists her desires and even asks for a festival t-shirt, and 𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒆 offers to help 𝒂𝒃 find the t-shirt since he knows where it's sold, so they go together. As they walk through the corridors, other students start whispering and looking at them. 𝒂𝒃 feels a little uncomfortable being in the spotlight, but there's nothing she can do because 𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒆 is the Henry Cavill of the school. As she tries to speed up, 𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒆 accidentally bumps into the gym teacher, who immediately starts teasing him for walking with a girl. He starts playfully patting 𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒆, happy that he's finally with a girl. The teacher then turns to 𝒂𝒃 and asks what school she attends. And when she says she's in college, he jokes that he didn't know 𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒆 was interested in older women. After the teacher walks away, a group of younger girls run up and ask if 𝒂𝒃 and 𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒆 are dating. 𝒂𝒃 quickly denies it, but the girls keep asking questions, and it starts to get overwhelming. Eventually, they end up outside and collapse on a nearby bench, completely exhausted from all the tension. At that moment, 𝒏𝒆 and 𝒂𝐿𝒆 arrive after buying a bunch of things, and 𝒏𝒆 notices that 𝒂𝒃 looks tired. When 𝒂𝒃 tells him what happened, 𝒏𝒆 laughs and tells her that the same thing happened to Runa last year when she walked around with 𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒆. Then he playfully suggests that 𝐂𝐨 and Yamada actually start dating just to shut everyone up. 𝐂𝐨's eyes widen in shock, but Yamada doesn't react because he clearly doesn't realize that Rata is joking. Rata laughs at Yamada's lack of perception, but stops when he sees 𝐂𝐨 turning various shades of red. He apologizes, saying it was just a joke, but 𝐂𝐨, now frustrated, says she's going to get Runa some food and abruptly leaves. Rata thinks about going after her to apologize, but Yamada stands up and goes after her first, leaving Rata in shock. Meanwhile, 𝐂𝐨 is still frustrated and confused, wondering why Rata said what he said and why Yamada didn't respond. As she hurries through the crowd, she accidentally bumps into 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆. 𝐂𝐨 quickly apologizes and hurries away again when she sees Yamada approaching, leaving 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 wondering what just happened. Moments later, Yamada appears, completely ignoring 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 and calling out to 𝐂𝐨, asking her to stop running before she gets hurt. She turns around surprised, and Yamada says she might trip on the stairs if she keeps running like that. 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 sees this and realizes she's not needed, so she silently leaves, and Yamada catches up to 𝐂𝐨 and apologizes for what happened before, but 𝐂𝐨 seems to have already forgotten about it. Instead, she points out that this is the first time he said her name. And Yamada says he must have said it before, but 𝐂𝐨 insists she's right and jokes that maybe he doesn't even know her name. Her voice attracts the attention of nearby students, making her uncomfortable again. So, without thinking, she grabs Yamada's hand and pulls him down the stairs to a quieter area. Once alone, 𝐂𝐨 apologizes for bringing him there and explains that the crowd was too much for her. And Yamada says it's okay and then apologizes again for Rata's joke. 𝐂𝐨 says she's not angry at all, which confuses him since he thought she was upset. She explains that she just ran off because she was embarrassed. When he asks why she felt embarrassed, 𝐂𝐨 avoids the question and says it's not important. And Yamada doesn't press for an answer and starts to walk away, but 𝐂𝐨 asks. She asks what he would have done if she had said yes to Rata's suggestion that they start dating. And Yamada is quiet for a moment, thinking, and just when it seems like he might say something, 𝐂𝐨 panics and says it was just a joke. As they walk down the stairs, Yamada suddenly speaks. He tells her that if she had said yes, it would be a great honor for someone like him. He adds that she is far above his level, and a guy like him doesn't deserve to be with a girl like her. 𝐂𝐨 is stunned by his words and doesn't know how to respond. For the first time, she is completely speechless. So she just silently follows him to buy Runa's food, as planned. A few days later, Yamada stops by the convenience store where 𝐂𝐨 works, and after checking out his purchase, she makes him draw a ticket for a raffle. She also mentions how they haven't seen each other since the festival and asks about Runa. And Yamada says she's doing well, so she asks him to wait outside since her shift is about to end. While she's finishing things up, one of her co-workers teases her about Yamada, asking who he is. 𝐂𝐨 casually says he's just a friend, but the woman doesn't believe her and knows that 𝐂𝐨 really wants to get back at him. Caught off guard, 𝐂𝐨 admits that she doesn't really know when her feelings started to change, but something about him just feels different. Now, as soon as her shift ends, she joins Yamada outside and hands him a bento she made as a small thank you gift for fixing her computer. He says it wasn't necessary but accepts it anyway with a small smile. While waiting at the crosswalk, 𝐂𝐨 sneezes and starts searching in her bag for a mask so she doesn't pass her cold to him. She's so focused on finding it that she doesn't see someone quickly passing by on a bicycle, and Yamada quickly pulls her closer to keep her safe. This sudden touch leaves her frozen for a moment, but he doesn't seem disturbed and acts as if nothing happened. As soon as she finds her mask and puts it on, they continue walking normally, even though her cookie is all wet. Later that night, she meets with Momo and explains how confused she's been about Yamada. She can't tell if Yamada is interested in her or just being generally kind, which bothers her greatly. As Momo paints her nails, she says that if a handsome guy approached her, she would go to bed with him all night without thinking. She then advises 𝐂𝐨 to stop worrying about what Yamada thinks and focus on what she wants. At that moment, 𝐂𝐨 receives a call from Runa, who tells her to meet immediately. Soon after, 𝐂𝐨 meets Runa at the park, and as soon as she sits next to her on the swings, Runa immediately mentions a message Rata sent to the group. She's clearly annoyed and can't believe that 𝐂𝐨 isn't more worried about them getting a new guild member. 𝐂𝐨 says she's looking forward to it, but Runa clearly isn't. She even pulls out a notebook where she wrote down a plan to scare the new member, but 𝐂𝐨 says she won't get involved in that mess. Next, she hands Runa a drink and asks her to welcome the new girl, as she might become a good friend just like them. This irritates Runa even more because she thinks 𝐂𝐨 will trade her for the new girl. 𝐂𝐨 tries to comfort her, but Runa pouts and says she expected this kind of response from 𝐂𝐨, just like Rata, who warned her not to bully the new girl. She explains that the newbie is Yamada's classmate, who normally plays first-person shooter games but wants to take a break and play open-source games. Runa knows the two are quite close, but when she called Yamada to ask about her, he evaded the question. 𝐂𝐨 is surprised to learn that Yamada even has female friends at school, but before she can think more about it, Runa takes her phone and puts Yamada's number in it. She tells 𝐂𝐨 to call him and ask about the new girl, since he won't say anything if Runa herself calls. Meanwhile, Yamada is at cram school with his friends 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 and 𝑦𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆. As they sit together, 𝐂𝒏𝒄 thanks Yamada for letting him join the group, and 𝑦𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 sits between them like the biggest intruder, eating his Big Mac. When Yamada's phone starts ringing, he ignores it, saying the number is unknown. 𝑦𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 jokes that it's probably some girl calling to confess, but Yamada just shrugs. 𝐂𝒏𝒄 sternly tells 𝑦𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 to leave the guy alone because he's not interested in romance. After class, the three walk together to the train station, and while 𝑦𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 complains of hunger, Yamada stops to return the missed call. He's surprised to hear 𝐂𝐨𝐵's voice on the other end, and they chat for a while until she sneezes again. He asks if she's okay, and she says she's just a little under the weather and needs to go to work soon. After the call ends, 𝐂𝒏𝒄 asks who it was, and he casually says it was 𝐂𝐨𝐵. She remembers seeing 𝐂𝐨𝐵 at the school festival, and Yamada mentions that she's also in their guild, which means she'll meet her soon. Curious, 𝐂𝒏𝒄 asks what kind of person 𝐂𝐨𝐵 is, which makes Yamada recall all the times he was touched by 𝐂𝐨𝐵's silliness and kindness. In the end, he struggles to find the right words to describe her, making 𝐂𝒏𝒄 wonder if he likes her. That night, 𝐂𝐨𝐵's manager begs her to take a shift because his assistant is on leave, and she angrily joins him at the store. While in the back, she looks at herself in the mirror, reflecting on the conversation she had with Momo. The next day, during Runa's tutoring session, 𝐂𝐨𝐵 calls to say she won't be able to go online that night because she's feeling sick. Runa tells her to take care and ends the call. Meanwhile, 𝐂𝐨𝐵 is in her apartment. She manages to get a glass of water, but her throat hurts too much to swallow, and she hasn't eaten all day. She thinks she should eat something before taking medicine, so she tries to go out to the store when Momo doesn't answer her calls. But she's so weak that she falls while trying to get on her bike and doesn't have the energy to lift it back up. She gives up and decides to go back to her room and order food online, but her body refuses to move. Just as she's about to pass out, someone appears and helps her with the bike. She looks up and sees Yamada, but believes it's just a hallucination. But when everything starts to get blurry, she leans back, completely losing consciousness. Luckily, Yamada catches her in time and carries her back to her apartment. At the same time, Okamoto and 𝐂𝒏𝒄 are trying to contact Yamada, as they were supposed to go to cram school together. When he doesn't answer the phone, Okamoto jokes that Yamada must be too busy picking up a girl. 𝐂𝒏𝒄 quickly defends him, saying that Yamada is not the type to abandon studying for a girl. Okamoto tells her that love can change people and then casually teases her to confess before someone else snatches him up. 𝐂𝒏𝒄 is quiet for a second, then silently admits that she already knows someone could take Yamada from her at any moment. And to Okamoto's surprise, she starts to cry. When they first met, 𝐂𝒏𝒄 approached Yamada in class and told him they were playing the same game the night before. And she's convinced he cheated because no one is that good. She challenged him and demanded to see him play in real time. And instead of getting defensive, Yamada just agreed. He took both 𝐂𝒏𝒄 and Okamoto to his apartment, where she watched closely as Yamada showed off his god-tier gaming skills. After seeing his skills, she realized her mistake and apologized. And from then on, they became good friends. At that time, her feelings were purely friendly, and she even felt bad for the girls who confessed to him and ended up heartbroken. In their second year, she noticed that Yamada kept rejecting all the girls who confessed to him, and people started saying that he might be a little different. When she asked if there was anyone he liked, he said no, but shared a story about a girl he met once. She was always being bullied, so her mother went to school, and the teacher often asked Yamada to deliver her homework. Slowly, she started attending school more regularly, and Yamada started spending more time with her to keep her company. One day, the girl asked him if he would always stay by her side. He honestly said he didn't think he could promise that. That moment crushed her, and she cried a lot before transferring schools shortly after. And Yamada said he often thought about her, and wondered if he could have avoided hurting her by choosing different words. That memory stayed with him and made him uncomfortable around girls. Since then, he's always been direct and quick to refuse girls. After hearing his story, 𝐂𝒏𝒄 decided never to fall in love with him, telling herself that liking Yamada would be like breaking her own heart on purpose. Back to the present, Yamada tries to help 𝐂𝐨𝐵 drink water, but she can't swallow and ends up spilling it on the pillow. He quickly removes the soaked pillow and tries to cool her down with a wet cloth, but it doesn't help. He wakes up to ask where she keeps her health insurance card, and after she tells him, he takes her to the hospital. Soon after, Yamada leaves carrying her in his arms, and 𝐂𝐨𝐵 regains consciousness for a few seconds and assumes she's dreaming. After being treated at the hospital, 𝐂𝐨𝐵 wakes up in her own bed feeling much better, though she's confused about how she got home. As she tries to sit up, she sees Yamada sleeping on the floor and is left speechless in shock. She walks to the balcony door and opens it, letting the cool breeze in. The sudden cold wakes Yamada, and he rushes to close the door. Just as 𝐂𝐨𝐵 starts sneezing again with a handful of tissues, she tells him he should stay away before he also catches her cold. And Yamada calmly tells her to lie down again, promising he'll explain everything once she's comfortable. Once she settles in, he says he found her almost passed out near the bike racks and carried her home. 𝐂𝐨𝐵 is amazed because she thought seeing him earlier was part of a fever delirium. Realizing that he really helped her when she needed it most, she starts to cry but quickly assures him that she's fine and thanks him for saving her life in an Oscar-worthy performance. She instinctively tries to hug Yamada, but he moves away a bit and steps on a book. As he picks it up, he sees that it's a consolation book for those who have been deluded and discarded. And 𝐂𝐨𝐵 quickly grabs it, saying he'll never understand because he's never been discarded. Once she calms down, she thanks him for being so kind. But Yamada remembers the girl whose heart he broke and tells her that he's not the person she thinks he is. Seeing the look on his face reminds her of Takuma, who was exhausted and in pain. And she says he's glad he dumped her directly instead of lying to her. Instead of crying, she simply accepted it with a smile. So one day when he looks back, he will remember her as a happy memory. Perhaps then he will regret letting her go, but it will be too late. This reminds Yamada of the same girl who, on their last date, started crying. But before leaving, she thanked him with a smile because he was always there for her. Then 𝐂𝐨𝐵 checks her fever, which has already gone down. Then he hands her a yogurt to eat. As she eats, she tells herself that she would have screamed if it were anyone else besides Yamada when she woke up. But Yamada conveys a pure energy, which makes her feel calm. As she hands him the empty cup, her leg cramps up because of the way she was sitting. She cries out in pain, and Yamada tells her to stretch her leg, but she can't do it alone. Without saying much, he pushes the blanket aside and gets into bed to help her. 𝐂𝐴NI realizes what's happening and starts flailing her other leg in a panic, but Yamada dodges her kicks and focuses on massaging the cramping leg. Once the pain subsides, she relaxes, and he says she was being dramatic for no reason. She murmurs a quiet thank you, but notices that he's looking at her a little too intimately. Her heart starts racing and she wonders what he's thinking, only to realize he's reaching out to get the spoon from the yogurt cup. She pulls away too fast, hits her head, and then stares in embarrassment when she realizes what actually happened. And Yamada starts to smile because 𝐂𝐴NI thought he was about to hit on her, and 𝐂𝐴NI begs him to stop teasing her. The next morning, 𝐂𝐴NI thanks him again for taking care of her. As Yamada prepares to leave, she unconsciously grabs the edge of his jacket. When he asks if anything is wrong, she quickly lets go and apologizes, saying she's fine. And Yamada gives her a confused look but says nothing, and after a moment he calmly walks out the door. That morning, Momo shows up at 𝐂𝐴NI's house with some groceries and quickly apologizes for not answering her calls the night before. 𝐂𝐴NI says it's okay and explains that Yamada stayed there and took care of her all night, which completely surprises Momo. Curious, she asks if 𝐂𝐴NI got some action, but 𝐂𝐴NI says they're just friends. Momo doesn't believe her and says it's strange for a guy to do so much for a girl if he doesn't feel anything. Before leaving, Momo advises 𝐂𝐴NI that in love, timing matters more than anything else. This comment confuses 𝐂𝐴NI, especially since she never thought of Momo as the type to give romantic advice. Later that day, after eating and reviewing some school assignments, 𝐂𝐴NI logs into 𝐹os, hoping to find Rata and maybe hunt some monsters. Luckily, she sees Rata online, and he's playing with 𝐂𝐵𝒄𝒊𝒆. 𝐂𝐴NI joins their chat and introduces herself to 𝐂𝐵𝒄𝒊𝒆, excitedly inviting her to hunt with them. She accepts, and both decide to try their best to make a good first impression. When they arrive at the hunting grounds, Rata finds a shady spot under a tree to relax and enjoy the view, while 𝐂𝐵𝒄𝒊𝒆 and 𝐂𝐴NI jump directly into a boss fight. They struggle to keep up and beg Rata for help, but he calmly decides to stay out of the fight, only casting healing spells whenever their health drops too much. With no alternatives, 𝐂𝐴NI and 𝐂𝐵𝒄𝒊𝒆 start using all the skills they have in hopes of unlocking some secret move that will save them, but nothing works. 𝐂𝐵𝒄𝒊𝒆 then thinks of another strategy, but it also fails, and the boss ends up leaving clearly unimpressed. Even if they don't win, the two girls let it go and start talking about what went wrong and how they can improve next time. Rata watches from the sidelines, happy that they're getting along. After that, 𝐂𝐴NI logs out of the game and calls Yamada. She talks about the hunt and how she teamed up with 𝐂𝐵𝒄𝒊𝒆 and Rata. Then she starts to give him tips on how to defeat high-level bosses. Their conversation goes on for a while, and when 𝐂𝐴NI finally realizes how late it's gotten, she says she just wanted to hear his voice and ends the call. But as soon as she hangs up, she realizes her hands won't stop shaking. She knows exactly what saying those words means. In a moment of emotion, she calls Momo and says there's something she really needs to talk about. Momo tells her to wait until she's fully recovered, and they agree to meet in person a week later. When they finally meet at a cafe, 𝐂𝐴NI builds suspense. But instead of talking about Yamada, she asks Momo if she can explain why her ex broke up with her. Momo, clearly disappointed, sighs and calls the waiter before answering. After the waiter leaves, Momo admits she thought 𝐂𝐴NI wanted to talk about her feelings for Yamada and says she was really excited. Instead, 𝐂𝐴NI brought up her ex again, which makes Momo wonder if she's still hung up on that loser. 𝐂𝐴NI insists she's over him, but says she needs closure to truly move on. She wants to know if there was something wrong with her that caused the breakup. Momo tells her that she's not the problem, hoping that will help calm her down. At that moment, two guys enter the cafe and immediately head towards their table, ignoring the waitress who tries to seat them. Momo recognizes them as the same annoying guys from a recent group date and tells 𝐂𝐨 to ignore them. 𝐂𝐨 does her best to act cool and indifferent, but the guys don't take the hint and keep talking to them, making things awkward and uncomfortable. Luckily, their food arrives, and to 𝐂𝐨's surprise, it's Rata who's serving. He calmly asks the two guys who they are, and they claim to be 𝐂𝐨 and Momo's friends. The waitress intervenes and corrects them. Then Rata politely asks them to move to another table. When they ignore him, Rata drops his friendly tone and repeats the request in a much firmer voice that instantly silences them. Feeling the pressure, the guys finally back down, and Rata returns to his usual cheerful self, as if nothing happened. Curious, Momo asks how 𝐂𝐨 knows him, and she explains that Rata is one of her guildmates in FOs. This makes Momo wonder if all gamer guys are attractive, and if she should try to get one for herself. After the cafe closes, Rata leaves and finds 𝐂𝐨 and Momo waiting for him outside. He playfully asks if they're there to ask for his autograph or join his non-existent fan club. But 𝐂𝐨 quickly shuts down the idea. She says she actually needs to talk to him about something serious. They go to a nearby park with Momo and Rata, but she's so nervous that she doesn't say a word for a while. Then, out of nowhere, Momo casually blurts out that 𝐂𝐨 is in love, causing 𝐂𝐨 to panic and feel embarrassed. Rata thanks Momo for saving time, then turns to 𝐂𝐨 and praises her for composing herself after the breakup. But Momo isn't ready to stop stirring things up and tells Rata that 𝐂𝐨 has been feeling sad because she still doesn't understand why her ex broke up with her. Since there's no point in hiding it anymore, 𝐂𝐨 explains that since both Runa and Momo were present during her most difficult moments, she wanted to tell them personally that she fell in love. After hearing her, Rata smiles and encourages her to confess to Yamada, promising that even if it doesn't go well, he and Momo will be there to cheer her up. Feeling a little braver, 𝐂𝐨 goes out to find Yamada. Meanwhile, Momo decides to try flirting with Rata, but unfortunately for her, it goes nowhere. Meanwhile, 𝐂𝐨 takes the train and then runs to Yamada's house. Yamada answers the door, looking surprised to see her, and politely asks what she wants. She stands there trying to figure out how to say what she's thinking. But before she can speak, two elderly people start shouting friendly greetings to each other across the street, and a small dog starts barking right after. The loud noise makes it impossible for her to say a word, which makes her feel hopeless. And Yamada tells her that he's about to leave for cram school and asks if she can wait for him while he gets ready. She agrees and stands near the door. But to her shock, Yamada gently pulls her into the house as he closes the door. He casually tells her to make herself at home, completely oblivious to the fact that his proximity is making her heart race. As she enters his room, 𝐂𝐨 is paralyzed, but quickly turns away when Yamada, without warning, takes off his shirt. In a few minutes, he's fully dressed, and they leave for the station together. As they walk, 𝐂𝐨 is deep in thought, wondering if she should really confess or just remain friends to avoid ruining what they already have. Her mind wanders so much that she almost walks straight into traffic, but Yamada pulls her back just in time. He asks if she's okay, but she starts muttering to herself, so he simply takes her hand and leads her across the street when the light turns green. When they arrive at the train station, Yamada apologizes for not having enough time to talk and says they'll have to continue their conversation later. 𝐂𝐨 says it's okay, but the look in her eyes makes him realize she's not really satisfied. He turns back and promises to call her after class. This makes her face light up and she says she'll wait, which makes Yamada smile too. Not long after they part ways, the sky opens up and it starts to rain heavily. Even after class ends, it's still raining hard. And when Okamoto asks Yamada how he's going home, Yamada says he has an umbrella. Hearing this, Okamoto asks if he can share it with him, but when he realizes 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 doesn't have one, he gives his spot to her. 𝐂𝐂𝒏𝒄 hesitates, but Okamoto encourages her, saying it's the perfect chance to confess her feelings. She reluctantly agrees and walks with Yamada. As they walk, Yamada notices that 𝐂𝐶𝒏𝒄 is getting wet. So he hands her the umbrella and starts running ahead. She still hasn't said what she thinks, so she tries to follow him, but bumps into someone and falls to the ground. Her glasses fly off. She's almost blind without them, so she gets on her hands and knees to look for them. Luckily, Yamada comes back and helps her until they find them, but they're broken. As she looks at his blurry face, she suddenly says she likes him. Shocked by her own words, she covers her mouth with both hands, dropping the umbrella. And Yamada says nothing and just picks it up for her. When 𝐂𝐶𝒏𝒄 starts to cry, she apologizes for putting him in an awkward situation, but begs him to just think about her feelings for one night. Later that night, Yamada sends 𝐂𝐨 a message, saying he's too tired to talk and that they'll have to talk another day. She's a little upset, but decides to respect his wishes. The following afternoon, while Yamada is tutoring Runa, Rata appears and casually asks if anyone has confessed to him. Yamada seems surprised and asks how he knew, but Rata just smiles and says it's a secret. Assuming the confession was from 𝐂𝐨, he asks if Yamada has already responded, and Yamada says no, explaining that he's still thinking about what to say. Rata, a little worried, tells him not to prolong things because leaving someone in suspense is just a way to hurt them. That night, 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 appears at 𝐂𝐨𝐴's workplace, but doesn't go in. Her co-worker says he's waiting outside, so she quickly goes to meet him. He said he tried to call her, but her phone is off, and she apologizes because the battery died. Realizing something seems wrong, she gently asks if something is bothering him, and 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 says he's just tired from studying, but she doesn't fully believe him. Still, she doesn't press and starts telling him about a new sword she got in the game. When he asks what kind of sword it is, she smiles and asks him to extend his hand so she can draw it. After finishing, she says that even though she doesn't know what's bothering him, she hopes he cheers up soon. She adds that she prefers the calm and mysterious 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 to the silent and moody one. Her words spark something in him, and he finally opens up. He admits that he usually stays quiet because he's afraid of saying the wrong thing. He also says he often feels useless, especially since he has difficulty understanding jokes and people's emotions. Hearing this, 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 looks directly at him and says that to her and the rest of their friends, he is the most thoughtful and kind person they know. She tells him never to call himself useless again because none of them see him that way. Later that night, 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 meets 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆, and she already knows she'll be rejected, so she prepares for it. She admits that she's liked him for a long time but kept it to herself because she didn't want to ruin even their friendship. She then asks 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 if he's willing to listen to her, and he calmly says yes. Feeling a little braver now, she tells him all the little things she loves about him, like how well he plays, how calm he is, and how he looks out the classroom window whenever he's bored, while 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 listens in surprise. When she finishes, she starts to cry, and even though she can't see his face without her glasses, she says she doesn't regret falling in love with him. Moved by her sincerity, 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 feels his eyes sting, and when he tries to wipe them, she notices the drawing 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 made on his hand. When she asks who made it, he casually says it was from a friend, but she knows it was from Annie. She tells him that he likes Annie more than just as a friend. And after a long pause, 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 finally admits that she's right. 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 then thanks her for being honest and apologizes for not feeling the same way about her. Although the truth hurts, 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄 says she's happy that he was kind enough to listen to her. When her tears subside, she turns to leave, but without her glasses. She walks straight towards a vending machine, and 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 asks if she wants him to take her home, but she quickly says no. She was embarrassed enough for one night. A few days later, 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 meets Runa, Rata, and 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 outside a new restaurant. As they enter, they notice that the place is full of people who seem to know 𝐂𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 because the place is run by his friend. They are led to a private dining room, and when the food arrives, 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 happily says it's the best meat she's ever eaten. Rata agrees, although he mentions that it's a shame 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 couldn't come. Runa, however, says she's happy because she still sees 𝐂𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 as a rival and makes no effort to hide it. At that moment, some waiters arrive with extra dishes and wine, saying the food was sent by 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒆's friends. 𝐂𝐂𝒏𝒆 tells everyone to enjoy, although only he and 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 are old enough to drink. Time passes, and 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 finally appears. Then Runa runs to tell him how amazing the food is. But then, she suddenly stops talking and stares in fear, saying that 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 is back. Before 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 can ask what she means, a very drunk 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 throws herself on him, talking nonsense, and 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 asks how she got so drunk. And Runa explains that she drank the entire bottle of wine herself. Tired of 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 clinging to her, Runa begs 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 to take her home, and he agrees, apologizing for missing dinner. At the train station, 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 dozes off. So, 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 presses a cold water bottle to her cheek to wake her up a bit. She apologizes for causing trouble and says he can leave since she's feeling better. But 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 refuses. He says there are too many strange guys out there, and he doesn't trust anyone else to make sure she gets home safely. Reaching out, he waits for her to take his hand, and as soon as she does, they walk together. At one point, her heel gets stuck. So 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 kneels, helps loosen it, and puts the shoe back on her foot like a true gentleman, which makes 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 fall even more in love with him. Then he takes her hand again, and they continue walking until they reach her house. At the door, she thanks him, and as soon as he turns to leave, she suddenly calls out and asks if he likes her. And 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 smiles and says he didn't expect her to understand so quickly, surprising her. Not knowing what he means, she stares at him. Then he looks her in the eyes and says he likes her. He promises to repeat it the next day so she remembers when she's sober. When he turns to leave, she quietly asks if she can call him in the morning to make sure this isn't a dream. He says yes, and instead of leaving, he pulls her into a hug. The next morning, 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 calls as she said she would, and 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 confirms that everything she remembers is real. Later at school, she tells Momo everything, and her friend is over the moon to learn that they're finally together. During lunch, another classmate jokes that 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 is brave for dating someone younger, which makes her a little awkward. So, when she meets 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 later, she tries to act naturally and says she'll do her best not to be a burden to him during the entrance exams. However, 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 doesn't hear a word she said because he's too busy looking at her teeth. When she notices this, she gets embarrassed, but he says she has beautiful teeth and shouldn't feel awkward. After leaving the cafe, 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 offers to walk her home. As they walk, she keeps looking at him, and when he asks what she's thinking, she admits she wants to hold his hand. Without hesitation, he takes her hand, but doesn't understand why she didn't say it directly. He then remembers the first time he saw Ani and wondered why she would wear high heels if they hindered her movement. In the end, he realizes that he might never understand girls, but he's in love with one nonetheless. That's all for this video. If you liked it, leave a like and subscribe to the Curious Nerd channel. If you made it to the end, comment "I love feet" as proof.